A lot of people lately have been either returning or starting Lost Ark for the first time, and I've had a lot of questions about people, where do I start? And I'm going to try to answer that question today and give you some tips along the way as well. So first of all, I'm going to assume that you're a brand new player. Of course, if you're a returning player, you already have some characters, you can skip along a little bit. But first of all, we're going to be, of course, selecting our class. And there's a few things you can think about. Technically, every class is okay. There's, in my opinion, not a single one that cannot do anything, cannot clear all the raid content. So if you're like, I think this looks cool, definitely go for it. But if you want to get yourself a little bit of an easier time getting to the parties, I would suggest one of these 3 characters. And technically, the first one is going to be multiple classes, and that's just going to be supports. So the supports in this game are going to be artists, are going to be bard, and the last one currently paladin. But if you're watching this at around August, female paladin will have release as well, which will be a female warrior. Supports will just have an easier time getting to parties because people just need a lot of supports. So if you want the easiest time joining a raid on your first character, then supports definitely is a good option. If you want to go into DPS, I have some suggestions as well. First of all will be Arrowmancer. This is a class that provides movement speed, attack speed, and as well 10% crit rate. This is a very needed and sought after synergy, so it's a very good class to pick up. It does decent damage as well. And the other one I would recommend is going to be the War Dancer. She provides some nice movement speed and as well provides crits in, which is absolutely awesome. That's why I recommend those 2 classes, because they provide a lot to parties and that's why they want it. Of course, there's other classes as well, like Arcana, that provide crit rate, or something like the Gun Lancer, which is more of a supportive DPS as well. And of course, you can choose these as well. They're very wanted in parties, but not a lot of people choose these as their first character. And I think the last class that I could recommend, if you do not really care about supporting other people, but you want this pretty easy class, it's going to be Berserker. So once you've chosen your character you want to, press random a few times. It's time to dive into the world of Arkesia. Okay, so we're done with the tutorial, and the first thing that I would do if you are a new returning player is double check your settings real quick. Make sure every of the basic settings is like you like it, as well your FPS is all the way maxed, and of course I would definitely recommend turning off these options right here. Inside of gameplay and control settings, you can turn off skill screen shake and as well turn on skill instant cast. This will allow you to instantly cast your skills without getting a little bit of like a crosshair for them. Same for bombs and all the kind of consumables you can use. And in my opinion, a very overlooked one is going to be an accessibility, and under the video accessibility is going to be the photosensitivity mode. I have it around 55%, and this is especially for if you're doing later game raids where you need to see the boss. You can see that if I'm using spells, these things are actually pretty vibrant. You can see all the spells are pretty vibrant. There's a lot going on, and it can be a bit overwhelming. It's gonna dumb down the glowing and all the effects on your abilities a bit more, so it's a lot easier to see what's going on. And in my opinion, this is one of my favorite settings inside the game. As well, the one you have to adjust is gonna be under gameplay and display settings, and then it's gonna be display effects and all these kind of things right here. Make sure to display only buff effective party members, because you do not want to see everyone's in your party's abilities hitting the boss. And as well, for the standard option under combat related settings is if you go to show HP bar, technically this one is never on, which in my opinion is really annoying because you can only see your HP at the bottom left. I personally think it's such a overlooked setting to not show your own HP bar. I can just look at my HP bar right here and know if I need to press a potion or if I'm good to go. So what should you do as a brand new player after you've done your settings, you chose your character, and you're now inside of the game? First of all, just have fun and explore the world. I could tell you 1,000 things you should do, but you know, exploring and just having fun is number 1. But if you want to have a little bit of a goal and something that will help you out greatly, it's going to be doing the Arkesia Tour. You can find it in the top right next to your map, and this is going to be a like list of little objectives you can do, and it will reward you with a ton of in-game items you're going to have to get anyway. It's as simple as doing certain small tasks, like for example, I have to go to this adventure point right here. Sadly can't get there because I have to do the main story quest, but you know, this is what it is. And there's other things like searching Mokokos in certain areas on the map, which are little collectibles. or even doing your main storyline quest, which is like indicated in this blue color. Once you've completed yourself every level of Arkesia Tour, you got yourself so many free skill points, which is awesome. You get yourself free runes, which are really, really useful, and even some really rare collectibles. So definitely, if you're new players, start off with Arkesia Tour. It's going to be very fun, and as well, it's going to give you a ton of rewards. On the Arkesia Tour and just doing your storyline will bring you all the way through the area of Rethremus, Eudia, and as well as West Terra, East Terra, and eventually you'll end up at North Vern. It's going to take you a while, but of course, as a brand new player, you're just going to have to do this. But if you are actually a returning player, you maybe have a character already above level 50, you probably have access to something called Knowledge Transfer, which is a button in the top right of your character. And you will end up at a nice little beach next to a robot, and this robot allows you to, by paying a little bit of gold, and you can see it's 600 gold, for you to skip all the way until level 50, which is going to be really cool. Look at this. So boom, we're going to skip this right now, and our Aeromancer right now in about a second is now level 50. So you can see we're now item level 500, and we got ourselves a nice little set of gear, which we're going to be able to upgrade, etc. And you can see we now have access to Northburn as well. You can see we went through all these continents without ever touching them, and we now are at the same starting point as if you would be if you ended your main story quest all the way to the first area. So for us, what we can do is we can just continue doing story if we want to, but we now get access to some end game-ish content, which is going to be including your Chaos Dungeons, which is going to be your daily like mob brawler, and you're going to get yourself materials from this to upgrade your gear. Or you can even take on your first raid, which is going to be Urnil, Lumerus, Icy Liguros, and Vertus as well. These are all going to hook you up with some materials, which is pretty awesome. But mainly, normally, we have some sort of event going. You can see this time's the Arkesia Grand Prix coin event. And this you can use into the most important thing for a new player is going to be the event shops. These event shops are full of materials. Look at all of these. But the most important ones are going to be the ones you use to hone your character's gear with. You can see we have shards, we have leap stones, we have juice materials to get an easier chance, and as well red and blue stones for armor and weapon respectively. We as well have some books, but these for a little bit of the later eye level. They're not for the early ones, sadly, but still they're very, very, very good. So once you do your dailies and stuff, you accumulate those coins, and you're going to progress your character even more. Go splurge it on the eye level and just get higher and higher and higher. Of course, along the way, once you up your eye level, you're going to do all of the story, and you will unlock all the continents. And eventually, you're probably going to hit the roadblock of, I know it's 1585, but 1580 eye level. Of course, in between, we have now done some raids as well, because once you reach certain eye levels, you actually get access to a few raids. And you can see those are going to be Volton at item level 1415, Vicus 1430, 1475, Kakul Sadon, the Clown, Brelshaza at 1490, and then Akan eventually at 1580. So, of course, I have a more in-depth guide for how to gear your alts. It's on the channel as well, but you're going to be able to do these raids and get yourself gear, and eventually you end up at 1580. And why 1580 is going to be your roadblock, and that is because up until 1580, you only have to use silver to hone your character. But you'll see that right now, if I will go up this character's gear, it's going to require, sadly, to use gold. And gold, of course, is limited to how much you can get of it every single week. You can see I need to use 492 gold for one hone every tap, and this gold you can only get from a few sources. It's going to be gather marine materials using your trade skills, either logging, foraging, mining, hunting, fishing, excavating. I do have a dedicated guide on this as well on the channel. It's going to be getting lucky from your Chaos Dungeon or Guardian raids and getting yourself a Fade Ember, which can contain some gold. The main thing is, of course, going to be your raids, and you can see you can do yourself up to 3 raids that earn gold a week. You can do as many raids as you want, but you can only earn gold for 3 of them. So you want to do the highest one. So for me, it would be Akan, it would be Brelshaza, and another abyssal dungeon called Triangle would give me my most gold. And this gold can then be spent on your character once again. One last little source of gold is going to be Unatask. You can use these and just do some weekly missions at the end of the month. At the end of the month, July, it's going to change to weekly missions. Currently, they're daily. You're going to get yourself these Adventure Una tokens, which you can then go exchange in every city at this little gold icon right here. or right here. They're in different cities as well. And then you can get yourself some nice gold bars to use as well. So of course, right now up to this point, we've not really had a big honing or character event, and the next one that's going to be coming is around August in Female Paladin, and that's why technically I make this video, because without those events, it's actually pretty hard to progress all your way up to 1640, which is going to be the start of the end game, aka tier 4. So if you are starting right now anew, or you're a returning player and you do not want to spend the gold and you're just waiting for the events, I'm going to tell you what you should do right now. So once you've hit 1580 and you're, have to pay gold, what you just have to do every day, do at least these 3 dailies. Do Una tasks, do Chaos Dungeons, and do your Guardians. You're gonna pre-farm materials, mainly gonna be these shards right here. They're very, very, very important, and you should do them every day. If you're a bit too lazy, do them every 3 days, because you're gonna wait a day, another day, then you're gonna get yourself a rested bar, which you will see at the top right here. Every day you miss yourself a Chaos Dungeon, you get yourself a little bit of rested bonus, and once these bars filled up, they're gonna give you an extra bit of materials once you do them again. But at least do your Chaos Dungeons 3 times a week, so you get yourself these 3 chests, which you get every day for doing one up to 3 times. Then besides that, do your 3 gold earner rates. I would recommend just doing solo mode. You can do it with groups if you have some friends that maybe want to help you, or you're starting with a bunch of people. That's fine. You can do the group modes. But if you don't have any of those, just do solo mode for the 3 rates that give you the most gold, and just stack up as much as possible. And I would recommend just not spending it until the next event, because it's just going to make your life a lot easier and make your time more worthwhile. The last thing I would do every single week is buying out the solo mode shop. So if you're doing yourself some solo mode raids, you can see you get yourself these shops right here. They're in every big city as well, and they're going to include a lot of crazy good bags for materials, shards, honing mats, and everything like that. Even some raid materials, chests. Like, just take a look at this. It's just really, really, really good. There's even some raid materials as well, which you can get from this shop. Especially as a new player, this thing is absolutely busted, and just buy it out every single week. Okay, so we've covered doing your dailies, we've covered doing your raids, but what if you're done with those? They're not going to take you too long, maybe a day, and then of course your dailies, half an hour, and you're like, okay, what do I do next? So in my opinion, what you should just be spending most of your time on, and this can even happen before 1580, is going to type in Alt+D, which will open up your codex right here, and you're gonna type in skill point potion. And then you will see a list of all of these potions, 3 pages long, of points you are missing currently. Of course, if you've done Arkesia Tour, you're gonna have a lot more of these unlocked, because this character doesn't have Arkesia Tour done. But you're gonna have to collect all these anyway. So literally just see, okay, this one comes from collectible giant hearts. I can then go to the collectible menu, which is Alt+L. I can go to giant hearts. I can go to reward info. Okay, I get a skill point potion at 10, 6, and 12, so my goal should be getting 12 of the Giant's Hearts. This is a journey everyone has to do, so why not do it now while you're waiting for a new event to appear, which is going to propel you forward into the tier 4 archetype. And once you've done your skill point potions, sadly, you're not done yet, because you're gonna have to get yourself as well the enlightenment potions. This is gonna be for the Arc passive. You're gonna have to get every single one of these. Some of these, sadly, are locked behind 1640 content, so not everyone you can do yet, but I would still recommend going for as many of these as possible as soon as possible. And once you're done with that, and you're like, okay, am I done now? Do I just wait for the next event, just do my dailies? There's one last thing you can grind off. If you look at your skills, you can see we have these runes right here, like Iron Wall, Conviction, Judgment, Overwhelm, Wealth, etc. These have actually a lot of different versions, and if you're going to go to the codex once again, type in, for example, Wealth, you can see that there is a lot of different wealth runes to actually collect, and you want to get every single one of these. So the most important ones, if you don't know which where to start, are going to be Wealth, are going to be Galewind. Right here, we want all these high ones. Then as well, we have ourselves Conviction and Judgment. Conviction legendary, Judgment legendary. And those are the most important ones to get. There is some other ones like Bleed and Quick Recharge. So Bleed, we have the legendary right here. We have Quick Recharge. right here, and those are important as well, but they're a little bit less important than the Gale Winds, Wealth, and Conviction Judgment runes. And then the last thing you can just do while you're waiting is just trying to improve as much as possible. Watch guides, watch videos, make sure your build is optimized. You can use lostark.nexus, you can use oo.methy.mo to look at some really cool high parsing people, or just watch me on Twitch, of course, twitch.tv/ImDefild if you want to stay up to date with the latest raids. And that's technically all you can do really to prepare for the end game. But of course, if you really cannot wait and you just want to use your gold as soon as you get it and just climb the eye levels to 1600, 1610, maybe even to the 1620 before the Paladin patch comes out, that is totally fine. And the reason that's totally fine is because it's an MMO, it's just a game. What I'm saying are guidelines here. You don't have to follow anything at all. Do whatever makes you happy and just have fun inside of Lost Ark. And if I can give one more piece of advice, because you're gonna have to do this eventually anyway, I would recommend making a few more characters. If you're really bored, you've done all the farming, all the things you can do, then eventually you're gonna have to make a full roster of 6 characters. So sometimes we get a free power pass, which is a paid feature. You can see we can pay ourselves money to skip some part of the story and actually get some eye levels, which is very nice. But this is normally, like I said, is just a paid feature. But once in a blue moon, we get ourselves a free power pass, which normally goes to around 1580, 1600, and you can use it on a brand new character. So what I would recommend is, if you are bored and you just want to get yourself as well a little bit more gold every week, because every character can earn 3 raids of gold, you can make, in my opinion, up to 4 1580s. So these, of course, are free to create, they're free to grind, they don't cost any gold, and they will just only generate you more gold. Then you have 2 more slots to use for future power passes. So the next update in August with Female Paladin is going to fill your 5th slot, and then another later one is going to fill the 6th slot. So, of course, if you want to fill all 6 already and don't care about the power pass, go ahead, do what you want. But it's up to you to decide that. But I would recommend just doing around 4. It's not going to be too much. Skip the level 50, and then you're going to just do the rest of the grinding pretty nicely as well. But that's it, guys. I hope everyone is going to have a nice, lovely start as a new or returning player to Arkesia and have just been away for a long time. Of course, if there's any other tips or tricks you should know or should do, let me know it in the comment section down below. I know this video didn't feature like, oh, you should go to this island, this shop, this, that, this thing. I have videos for that all over my channel. I just wanted to make a quick, easy guide for you guys to follow as a brand new or returning player and you don't know where to start. So thanks so much for watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys again in 2 days for another video. Take care.